Hello everyone, welcome to Sources classes. This is Tushar Shaw, and in this video we will be continuing to solve the BHU PET 2020 questions that we were solving since the last 8 videos. Okay, so we had done up till only 8 questions because all of the questions were very big, and I have been taking the explanatory approach that is I have been explaining the all the questions and all the options, everything in just and not just the answer of the question in the video, so that requires quite a lot of time, and therefore we have been taking that approach. Okay, so firstly we let us simply introduce the BHU PET examinations a bit. We have already done it in the last videos, but it is like okay for you to like discuss a bit about the paper, so that you can like when you are solving the paper, you have that in mind, that you need what is the main strategy that you need for solving the questions. Okay, so basically BHU PET is the exam conducted by BHU for admissions in MSc. Okay, MSc, and we are obviously discussing the subject chemistry. So MSc chemistry would be the discipline. Okay, so this paper has basically 120 questions, and for solving that 120 questions, you will be given 2 hours. Okay, so for 2 hours, that means you have basically a time of 1 minute per question. 1 minute per question. Okay. Now the mark distribution is, for each right question you will be awarded 2 marks, and for each wrong question half marks will be deducted. Okay. So this was just the overall. Obviously, we have discussed the overall paper in the first video. So if you want, you may go check the video out. You can see it chronologically. Then you will be quite easily understanding. But other than that, the explanation of the whole paper in the question solving video is not possible, because that would require a huge amount of time, and we need to solve the questions directly. Okay. So let us start by solving the questions now. So we had did up till question number 8 in the last video, so we'll be starting from question number 9. Okay, so it says that which of the following reactions is used for isoquinoline synthesis. Okay, so four major big reactions are given to you, and we need to determine which of them are used for isoquinoline synthesis, that is which of the following reactions give isoquinoline as the product. Okay, so we'll be just writing the mechanism of each and every reaction, and then we'll be discussing which of them would be giving isoquinoline as a product. So let me just draw the structure of isoquinoline for you. This is So this is the structure of isoquinoline basically. Okay. Okay. So first of all, let us have the Pictet Spengler synthesis. I'll be writing down the not just the reaction, but I'll be discussing the mechanism of the reaction along with the the reaction discussion, so that like even if the question is not based on the reaction, but still you will be having a good grip of the reaction that I'm explaining. Okay. So for in this reaction, the two substrates that are the two reactants that are required are NH2 plus R1 R2 C double bond O. So this N lone pairs would be attacking over here. This bond will be opening up. Okay, and obviously from the system H plus is there. So this lone pair would be taking up the H plus. Okay, so what we will be getting is NH2 plus, then we have this R2 OH R1. Okay, then there would be an exchange of H plus. Obviously this H would be released from the system to give NH R2 OH R1. Okay, like basically the system would rearrange the H plus, so this H from the nitrogen would be getting attached to the oxygen, so we will be getting OH2 plus. Okay, now here we have water over here, so what would happen is this lone pair would be falling over here and this water would be released from the system, giving us minus H2O. So NH double bond R2 R1, and here would be one plus sign. Again H plus here would be released from the system, minus H plus. We would be having N R1 R2. Okay. Then we will be giving in the system Skiff's base. Skiff's base. So what would happen is again H plus would be added to the system, but now the orientation of the from the say, I'm sorry, here I did a mistake. Double bond R2 R1. Okay, so now the orientation will be changing on giving the space. Give that is from the cis trans configuration would be having an interconversion. Okay, so we will be getting this kind of product. NH double bond R1 R2. Then what would happen is obviously let me just delete this one. So we have this over here. So here this as we have lone pair over here, so this double bond would be attacking over here, and this charge would be not the double bond basically. I'm sorry, this aromatic ring, this double bond from the benzene ring would be attacking over here, and this bond will be going up. Okay, so what we'll be getting is here we have plus charge. So what we'll be getting is a plus charge over here. We have double bonds and NH R1 R2. Okay, and then after the loss of one H plus on the system, from here one H plus is lost. H plus is lost. So we'll be getting NH R1 R2. Okay, then the last step would be you will be giving selenium. So what would happen is the ring would be aromatized, sorry. Um, okay, so here the derivative of isoquinoline is formed, and if you take R1 equal to H and R2 equal to H, then we will be getting isoquinoline directly. Okay, so basically from this reaction only, from the first reaction only, that is the Pictet Spengler synthesis, where we are getting isoquinoline as a product. Okay, so it will be like easy to assume that option A would be the correct answer. So we will be considering this option A as the correct answer for now, and then we will be like moving on to with the next question and seeing whether the other options are what are the other options that are there to explain. Okay, so now option B. Option B is basically Fred-Langer synthesis. Okay. So Fred-Langer synthesis. This is kind of an absurd, a small synthesis. Okay, and it happens like in situ of the compound. So we have this. Let us say we have an R attached to it at any of the positions we don't know. We have NH2 over here, and we have a C double bond O over here. We have R4. We have R3. We have R2. Okay, and we have R1. So what would happen is the lone pair of this nitrogen would be attacking over here. This bond will be going opening up. Okay. So we have nitrogen over here. We have oxygen as O minus R4. We have here double bond R3. We have R2, and in the benzene ring we have R1. Okay. we have H over here, and there will be one positive charge. Okay. Then what would happen is H plus would be released from the system, not released basically. This H plus would be migrated over here to be incorporated with the O minus. Okay, and that will be giving a stable species for now. That would be the intermediate. So we have NH, we have OH, we have R4, R3, R2. Okay. Then what would happen is the water would be released from the system on heating. Here H plus would be going here, and O minus would be releasing. OH minus would be released as totally minus H2. Okay. So we'll be getting the product as R1, R2, R3, and R4. So basically, quinoline derivative is formed. Okay, quinoline derivative is formed, and if R1 is equal to R2 is equal to R3 is equal to R4 is equal to H, then exactly quinoline is formed. Okay. So obviously, as quinoline is formed, and question requires isoquinoline to be formed. Therefore, this option is not the answer. Okay. So moving on to the next option, which is hand synthesis. Okay. So option C, hand synthesis. So the mechanism of hand synthesis is kind of like starting with the Michael addition. So we'll be like looking into that firstly. The substrate are extremely complicated, so like it will be easy for you to follow up as I am drawing it for you. Double bond O, we have OMe over here, we have NH2. NH2 is written in this way. So first of all, Michael addition takes place in these two compounds to enone. The mechanism would be, this would be going over here, this would be like attack, sorry, this would be taking up this H from the system, then this bond will be going up, and that bond will be attacking over there. Okay. So what we'll be getting is a very intense product, a very big product, which is OH. We have here, we have this double bond OMe. Okay. Then we have again double bond OMe, and we have double bond NH. We have, and here we have one H. Okay. So what would happen is this H would be released from the system, like we are doing multiple proton transfers now. Okay, multiple proton transfers. So the intermediate that would be formed is um, double bond O. We have double bond NH2 plus. We have here. Then we have double bond OMe, and we have OMe here, double bond, and O minus. Okay. Again cyclization would be taking place. So uh, like after the release of proton, cyclization would be taking place. Not basically release of proton. This is the intermediate which is formed. So so let me just show the step of cyclization over here. Double bond O, then we have NH2, double bond O, OMe, then we have O double OMe and double bond O. Okay, so what would happen is this lone pair would be attacking over here, and this part would be taking up one nitrogen, one hydrogen from the nitrogen group. Okay, so cyclization would be occurring to form a ketone type species. Okay, NH, we have double bond over here, we have C double bond O, OMe, and we have OH, we have uh, C double bond O, OMe, and here we have one hydrogen. So that hydrogen would be going up, basically releasing this OH from the system. That will be providing us with minus H2O. That will be providing us with an extremely big species, which is, here we have CO2OMe, and here we have CO2OMe. That, if we are treating with Se, which is basically we are aromatizing the whole system, then we will be getting a pyridine derivative. Okay, so pyridine derivative is formed, and obviously pyridine is not isoquinoline, so option C also won't be the correct answer. Moving on to option D. Okay, so option D is Madelung synthesis. Now Madelung synthesis is also quite a big reaction, so just focus on that. Okay, sorry, D, Madelung synthesis. Okay, so we have species like this. um, H, and we have NH, TMS. Okay, here we have one R group attached somewhere. So first, in the first step, what would happen is two RLI is taken to you. R2Li is taken. So first of all, this would be attacking over here, and secondly, this would be attacking over here, moving up one of the hydrogens. Okay, so we'll be getting a species like this, R1, uh, Li plus, and here will be one minus, and we'll be having N minus TMS with Li plus. Now we will be taking an ester group. Okay, so R3OR4 double bond O. So this N minus would be attacking over here, and this bond will be going up. So I'm sorry, not the N one. Sorry, this minus charge would be attacking over here, and this bond would be going up. So we will be getting a species like R1. We have O minus, OR4 and R3, and here we have N minus and TMS as it is, with bonded with Li plus. Okay, the next step is so what would happen is this bond will be going over here, and this will be released from the system. So minus OR4 minus. So we will be getting R1, we have double bond O, R3, we have N minus, TMS with Li plus. This N minus would be attacking over here, this bond will be going up. So we will be having R1, we have TMS obviously, and we have R3 and O minus over here. Okay, huh. So here we have one hydrogen. So in the first step we will be providing a hydrogen, so this would be becoming OH, and then we will be heating, so H2O would be released from the system. Yeah, so H2O would be released from the system, giving us R3, and here we have R1. Okay, so the only step that is required is formula the removal of TMS. So that is that step can be done by heteroatom Peterson olification. Okay, heteroatom Peterson olification. That is an extremely huge reaction. I won't be able to explain it in this video, so you can just check it up on Google, and then you will be getting the answer. Okay. So in this case, what we are getting is R3, R1. Okay, so this is basically an indole derivative, and as you know that indole is not quinoline. So we have isoquinoline. So we have established the fact that isoquinoline is only formed in option A, and as we have assumed that option A would be the correct answer, now we are sure that option A is the correct answer. Okay, so yeah, so let us end this video here. I guess you have learned. We have discussed four extremely huge reactions that they had huge mechanisms, and I'm happy that we have explained all these four reactions in just a single video. Like it will be easy for you to follow up the heteronuclear chemistry, and then you will be like doing it quite properly. Okay. Things like skiff base and things like this heteroatom Peterson unification, these are like quite complicated things, and cannot be directly explained in like this video. So what you can do is either we can discuss it in some other video, or you may look it up on Google or something. Okay, so thank you guys for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.